Hi students, this video lesson is about the Bentham and Hooker system of classification. So in taxonomy, you already know there are three major aspects are there. So those three major aspects are like identification, nomenclature and classification. So identification is about the process of identifying the plant, and then the nomenclature is about the giving a particular name to the plant. So that is known as the nomenclature process. And after identification and nomenclature, the next step comes the classification. So what is classification means? Classification is like after you identify the plant and after you naming a particular plant, then you start studying the plant. Scientists start studying the plant and they observe so many characters, and they actually study the so many characters of the plant, and then based on the studied characters and based on the analysis of the plant on particular so many characters, so the scientists try to group the plants under certain category. So that aspect is known as the classification. So like classification means it is the arrangement of a single plant or a group of plant under a distinct category, under a special category, following certain rules of nomenclature and also on the basis of identification of certain characters. So previously there were like three types of classifications are there in taxonomy. One is like a natural system of classification, and second one is artificial system of classification, and the third one is phylogenetic system of classification. So now coming into the what are the basic difference between these three types of classification systems? Like uh, artificial system of classification means the type of classification which is being done based on only one or two artificial characters. Means the scientists observe only one or two characters, they study only one or two characters, artificial characters, and then based on those one or two characters they try to classify the plant. Such type of classification is known as the artificial system of classification. And now a natural system of classification means this is a natural process. Means the scientists observe and study the various morphological characters like root system, shoot system, all the vegetative characters like stem characters and leaf characters and the floral characters, and as many as possible. Means in the natural system of classification, the scientists try to observe so many characters, so many natural characters they'll observe, they study the different types of the characters, and then based on all those natural characters they try to classify the plant. Such type of classification comes under the natural system of classification. So and like third one is the phylogenetic system of classification. Now what is phylogenetic system of classification means? The type of the classification which is being done based on the based on the characters of the previous generations, ancestral characters. After studying the ancestral characters and based on the study of the ancestral characters, the scientists try to categorize the plant under one category. So that type of classification is known as phylogenetic system of classification. So like this, classifications are three types: natural system, artificial system and phylogenetic system of classification. So in all these, the natural system of classifications are being widely accepted, and previously the scientists only categorized the plants under following the artificial system of classification. Means like they observe one or two characters of a plant, important characters of a plant, and then based on those above characters they try to group the plant, categorize the plant. So later only the natural system of classification comes into the picture. Okay, and in this natural system of classification, the widely accepted system of classification is the Bentham and Hooker system of classification. This is the most accepted system of classification, and this classification was proposed by two scientists, by namely George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker. So in these two scientists, among these two scientists, the second one, that is the Joseph Dalton Hooker, he is the director of Royal Botanical Gardens, Kew, England. So these two scientists, they combinedly they proposed a system of classification, that is the natural system of classification, and they actually written this system of classification in a book known as Genera Plantarum. So that book is known as that famous book, it is known as the Genera Plantarum. And Bentham and Hooker, they nearly described about 97,205 flowering plants, species of flowering plants, which belongs to 7569 genera, and again they belong to the nearly 200 families. So these two scientists actually, if you see the number, these two scientists actually described, recognized the 82 families under Polypetalae, 45 families under Gamopetalae, and 36 families under Monoclamidae, and 3 in Gymnosperms and 34 in Monocotyledons. Okay, and then if we see the classification, in the classification, the class Dicotyledons was divided into 3 subclasses, namely Polypetalae, Gamopetalae, and Monoclamidae. And again, if we observe the classification, first of all, the kingdom, the phylum division is there. Phylum or division is there, and that phylum or division, it's divided into classes, and that class is divided into, each class is divided into subclasses, and each subclass is divided into series, and each series is divided into orders, and each order again consisting of so many families, and each family consisting of so many genera, and then genera consisting of, each genus consisting of so many species. Like I said previously, for the classification, the species is the basic unit of classification. Species is the basic unit of classification. And let us see now, so what is the actual Bentham and Hooker system of classification? Let us try to understand what is the Bentham and Hooker system of classification. And yeah, sorry, I am just trying to show you in detail. So now here, so this is the Bentham and Hooker system of classification, you can see in the slide. So here actually the spermatophyta, the division spermatophyta is at the top position, and that spermatophyta, it is divided into 3 divisions, namely the 3 classes, namely the Dicotyledons, class Dicotyledons, and class Gymnosperms, and class Monocotyledons. And based on the few characters, means like we will one by one see what are the few characters based on which the scientists tried to group under this particular taxon. Okay, and then Dicotyledons, class Dicotyledons is again divided into 3 subclasses, namely Polypetalae, Gamopetalae, and Monoclamidae. And then the subclass Polypetalae is again divided into 3 series, namely Thalamiflorae, Disciflorae, and Calciflorae. And this Thalamiflorae series consisting of nearly 6 orders, and you can see on the slide, Disciflorae series consisting of nearly 4 orders, and Calciflorae series consisting of nearly 5 orders, and then 5 orders. And then subclass Gamopetalae, it is again divided into 3 series, namely Inferior, Heteromerae, and Bicorpellatae. Inferior consisting of 3 orders, Heteromerae consists of 3 orders, and Bicorpellatae also consisting of 4 orders. And Monoclamidae, subclass Monoclamidae, it is directly divided into 8 series. 8 series. Monoclamidae, it is directly divided into 8 series. And next one, the last one is the Monocotyledons. It's also directly divided into 7 series. So Monoclamidae and Monocotyledons, they are directly divided into series. And in these series, there will be no orders and no families. Directly divided into series only. And then the Gymnosperms, the middle one, Gymnosperms, is divided into 3 families. 3 families. So this is the outline of the Bentham and Hooker system of classification. So like this, the Bentham and Hooker system of Bentham and Hooker proposed the classification for the flowering plants. Okay, and let us see step by step on what characters and what characters they are taken into account, and on which characters they actually tried to group or categorize the plants under all these taxa. So let us see one by one. So Bentham and Hooker, coming into the Bentham and Hooker system of classification. So first of all, the spermatophyta, that we can call this taxa spermatophyta. It's like division. So that is a division. That division is classified into the classes, like 3 classes. Division spermatophyta is classified into 3 classes. Spermatophyta means, phyta means trees, sperms means the seeds. You can call, you can assume that as a seeds, that flower producing trees, flower producing trees, okay, flowering plants, and that flowering plants which consisting of seeds, all those will be all those divided into 3 classes. So what are the name of the classes? Dicotyledons and Gymnosperms and Monocotyledons. Let us see one by one. So Dicotyledons, the group Dicotyledons, so should means all the plants which are grouped or which are categorized under Dicotyledons, they should show the 4 characters. So based on the 4 characters, they are being kept under dicotyledons. Now see, now we will see what are the 4 characters. Number one, that is the presence of 2 cotyledons. Presence of 2 cotyledons is the first character, and second one, presence of taproot system and presence of reticulate venation in the leaves, and also pentamerous or tetramerous flowers. Pentamerous means 5 5, the parts are 5, sepals 5, petals 5, stamens 5, like that. Tetramerous means 4 sepals, 4 petals and 4 stamens. So if the plant consisting of, if the plant satisfies all the 4 characters, like presence of 2 cotyledons in a seed, and presence of taproot system and presence of reticulate venation in the leaves, and also the presence of pentamerous and tetramerous flowers. So if the plant satisfies all these 4 characters, and that type of plants, all those types of plants are being categorized under dicotyledons. And now that subclass dicotyledons, it's divided into 3 subclasses. You can see in the slide, namely the polypetalae, gamopetalae and monoclamidae. So all the plants which are kept under the dicotyledons, they are being divided into again 3 subclasses, namely polypetalae, gamopetalae and monoclamidae, based on the character of the nature of the petals, and also based on the perianth. So based on the perianth and based on the nature of the petals, the class dicotyledons is divided into polypetalae, gamopetalae and monoclamidae. So let us see, polypetalae means, what is polypetalae means? It is a self-explanatory word. So poly means free, petals means the plants, the flowers, if the flowers consisting of the free petals, all those plants are categorized under polypetalae. So this polypetalae is again divided into 3 series, namely thalamiflorae, disciflorae and calciflorae. So if you see the classification, see here also, the polypetalae is divided into 3 series, namely thalamiflorae, disciflorae and calciflorae. This type of classification, this particular classification, it's being based on the position of the ovary and also about the nature of the thalamus. So polypetalae subclass means, polypetalae means all the petals which are having, all the flowers which are having the free petals, the plants which are having the flowers with free petals. So all those plants are categorized under polypetalae, and that polypetalae is divided into 3 series, namely thalamiflorae, disciflorae and calciflorae. So coming into the series thalamiflorae, the characters or in the thalamiflorae are like the presence of hypogynous or superior ovary. Superior ovary means the position of the ovary is superior when compared with the calyx and corolla and androecium. The position of the gynoecium is superior. The position of the ovary is superior when compared with the position of sepals, petals and stamens. So such condition is called as the hypogynous condition. And then along with this superior ovary condition, the thalamus is conical, thalamus shape is cone-like, or it is elongated, or it is having a convex shape. So all the plants which are having the superior ovary and also the thalamus, the conical thalamus or elongated or convex thalamus, are placed under the series Thalamiflorae. And this Thalamiflorae consisting of 6 orders, namely Ranalis, Paritalis, Polygallinae, Caryophyllinae, Gattiferalis and Malvalis. And the second series is Disciflorae. Disciflorae characters are like presence of superior ovary, again means the ovary is superior when compared with the position of the sepals, petals and stamens, and also the presence of ring-like disc. The disc-like structure is present, which is in the form of a ring below the ovary. Below the ovary, a disc is present, and the disc looks like a ring. So these, based on the 2 characters, the plants are categorized under Disciflorae. So this Disciflorae series, it consisting of 4 orders, namely Geranialis, Celastralis, Olacalis and Sapendalis. And the third series is Calciflorae. It is named as Calciflorae, and the Calciflorae characters are like, number one, first character is the presence of perigynous or epigynous flowers. Epigynous condition is epigynous condition, it's like consisting of the inferior ovary. The ovary position is inferior. Inferior means the ovary will be placed at the bottom when compared with the sepals and petals and stamens. So they are present above the ovary. Sepals, petals and stamens are present above the ovary. And perigynous condition means all the four floral parts like sepals, petals and stamens and ovary all are at the same level. That is known as the perigynous condition. So in the series Calciflorae, the flowers, the plants consisting of the flowers with perigynous condition and epigynous condition. And also this series Calciflorae, it consisting of 5 orders, namely Rosalis, Myrtalis, Passifloralis and Ficoidalis and Umbellilis. So in this way, the dicotyledons is divided into 3 subclasses: Polypetalae, Gamopetalae and Monoclamidae. And Polypetalae is again divided into 3 series, namely Thalamiflorae, Disciflorae and Calciflorae, based on the explained characters. And then second subclass, Gamopetalae. So what is Gamopetalae? Name itself, it is a self-explanatory word. Gamo means united or fused. So Gamopetalae means fused petals. Means like this corolla, here the plant consisting of the flowers which shows united petals, which shows fused petals. So such type of plants are grouped under Gamopetalae, and this Gamopetalae is again divided into 3 series, namely Inferae, Heteromerae and Bicarpellatae, based on the position of the ovary. Based on the position of the ovary, that is, if the ovary is, whether the ovary is inferior or superior or like half superior and half inferior. So based on the position of the ovary, the subclass Gamopetalae is divided into 3 series. First series is known as Inferae. In this Inferae, the plant consisting of the flowers with inferior ovary. Inferior ovary means the ovary is at the bottom and the sepals, petals and stamens are above the ovary. So this Inferae consisting of 3 orders, namely Rubialis, Astralis and Campanalis. And then second series is known as the Heteromerae. Heteromerae, it consisting of, this series is with superior ovary, and along with the superior ovary, this series also consisting of more than 2 carpels. Now what are carpels? Carpels means the partitions of the ovary, the partition of the ovary, the fragments of the ovary, they are known as the carpels. So here the Heteromerae consisting of the superior ovary along with the more than 2 carpels, and this Heteromerae consisting of 3 orders, namely Ericalis, Primulalis and Ebenalis. And the third series in the under Gamopetalae is the Bicarpellatae. So Bicarpellatae series, the name itself is self-explanatory again. Bi means 2, Carpellatae means carpels, means Bicarpellatae series consisting of superior ovary with exactly 2 carpels. Carpels are, again carpels means the partitions of the ovary, the fragments of the ovary or the partitions of the ovary. So this Bicarpellatae series consisting of Geranialis, Polymonialis, Personalis and Lamialis, 4 orders. So here again the subclass Gamopetalae is divided into 3 series, Inferae, Heteromerae and Bicarpellatae, based on the position of the ovary. And now the third one, Bentham and Hooker classified the class dicotyledons into 3 subclasses, namely Polypetalae, Gamopetalae and Monoclamidae. We have seen Polypetalae classification and Gamopetalae classification, and now this one is the coming into the Monoclamidae classification. So Monoclamidae means the series, the subclass Monoclamidae. The meaning of the Monoclamidae is like mono means single, Clamidae means perianth. Means the plants here are having only one whorl of perianth, one ring of perianth, single whorl of perianth. So that subclass is known as the Monoclamidae, and that Monoclamidae is divided into 8 series. 8 series. Let us see one by one. What are the divided into 7 series. So let us see one by one. Number 1, first one is the Curvembriae. The name itself is self-explanatory. Curvembryo. Curvembryo means curved embryo. The flowers shows curved embryos with one ovule. The ovary is having only one ovule with curved embryos. So all such type of plants with the flowers showing curved embryo with one ovule are placed under Curvembriae. And second one is multi-ovulate aquatica. Multi-ovulate aquatica is like the self-explanatory word again. Multi means many, ovulate means ovules, aquatica means the plants living in aquatic habitats. So here all the plants are aquatic. So aquatic plants which consisting of so many ovules are being placed under multi-ovulate aquatica. And next one is the multi-ovulate terrestrica. Terrestrica means the land plants, and again the land plants which are with the flowers showing the many ovules. So such type of plants are being grouped under multi-ovulate Pterostracea. And fourth one is microembryae. Micro means small sized, very very small, and embryo. So the plants with the flowers showing the very very small sized embryos are being grouped under microembryae. And next one is the Daphnelis. So here the plant shows the flowers. The plant have flowers with the ovary having the only one carpel and also one ovule, and such type of plants are kept under Daphnelis. And Achlamydospore, here the plants are showing the flowers with inferior ovary. The ovary position is inferior when compared with the sepals, petals and stamens, and also the ovary consisting of 1 to 3 ovules, and also the ovary consisting of only one chamber. So that is why that condition is known as the unilocular. Unilocular means the ovary consisting of one chamber. So such type of ovary is present. So all those type of plants with flowers showing the unilocular ovary, inferior position of the ovary with 1 to 3 ovules. So those type of plants are being kept under Achlamydospore. And the next one is the unisexualis. The name itself is self-explanatory again. Unisexualis means the plants are having which are having the flowers with unisexual condition. So all those plants are being kept under unisexualis. And Ordinis anomali, that means here the different families are present which are not having clear relationships among them. So such type of families which are not showing any clear relationships are being grouped under Ordinis anomali. So this is about the Monoclamidae classification. And now coming into the class Gymnosperms, like we have seen in the classification. So where is the Gymnosperm? See here in this slide. Spermatophyta is divided into three classes, namely dicotyledons, gymnosperms and monocotyledons, right? So gymnosperms is being kept under kept between the dicotyledons and monocotyledons. So that gymnosperms. So gymnosperms means presence of naked ovules. The distinguishing feature or identifying feature of the gymnosperms is the presence of naked ovules. So that gymnosperms is being divided into three series. Namely, that gymnosperms is being divided into three families, consisting of three families, namely Nitaceae, Coniferae and Cycadaceae. Nitaceae consisting of the genus Nitum, and Coniferae consisting of the genus Pinus, and Cycadaceae consisting of the genus Cycas. That's about the classification of the gymnosperms. So gymnosperms, class gymnosperms means the class which consisting of the naked seed plants. Seeds are naked. So that consisting of three families. And now coming into the last one, that is the monocotyledons. Here in the Bentham and Hooker system of classification, if you see the classification, you can see the monocotyledons. The right side, extreme right side means the spermatophyta is divided into three classes, namely dicots and gymnosperms and monocots. So monocots, it's a self-explanatory word. Mono means single, cotyledon. So presence of single cotyledon, and the presence of adventitious root system, and the presence of parallel venation in the leaves, and also the presence of trimerous flowers. So all these four characters are the distinguishing or the identifying feature of the monocot plants. So the plants which shows or which satisfy all these four characters, like presence of single cotyledon and presence of adventitious root system. ఇందాక చెప్పినట్టుగా బెంథామ్ అండ్ హుకర్ క్లాసిఫికేషన్లో ఏకదళ బీజాలకు వచ్చేటప్పటికి monocotyledons, coming to the Bentham and Hooker classification, monocotyledons. So the identifying features of the monocotyledons are like single cotyledon and adventitious root system, parallel venation, and also trimerous flowers, presence of trimerous flowers. If the plant satisfies all these four characters, then those plants are grouped under monocotyledons. So coming into the monocotyledons, the group monocotyledons, the class monocotyledons, actually it is divided into 7 series, namely the microspermae. One is the microspermae. Microspermae means presence of these plants, the plants which are grouped under microspermae, they possess the inferior ovary. Position of the ovary is inferior. like the ovary, above the ovary all the sepals, petals and stamens are present. Ovary will be inferior, and also the ovary is with small seeds. So these two are the characteristic features of the microspermy. So the plants possessing these two characters are grouped under microspermy. And then coming into the second one, that is epigyne. Epigyne means here the plants possess the inferior ovary again, and also the plants here are possessing the flowers with fruits with large seeds. Large seeds are present, and also the inferior ovary. So these two, if the plants possess these two characters, they are grouped under epigyne. And now the third one, it is coronariae. Coronariae means it's having petaloid perianth. Perianth means perianth is equal to the calyx plus corolla. Calyx and corolla, they collectively called as the perianth. So here that type of perianth consisting of completely, it looks like petals. So sepals are absent and petals are only present. The perianth consisting of only petals. So such perianth is called as the petaloid perianth, and here the ovary will be superior. So if the plant flowers shows the petaloid perianth and the superior ovary, those type of plants are grouped under coronariae. And the next one is calcinae. Calcinae means the sepaloid perianth. Sepaloid perianth means here the perianth consisting of only the sepals. So petals are completely absent here, and also the second character is like presence of superior ovary. So if the plants shows the flowers which consisting of the sepaloid perianth and also the superior ovary, so such type of plants are grouped under coronariae. And next one is the calcinae. So calcinae means here again the sepaloid perianth is there, and superior ovary is there. And the last one is the nudiflorae. Nudiflorae is like here the perianth is completely absent. Means calyx and corolla, that is the sepals and petals are completely absent in the flower, and here the superior ovary is present. So if the plants consisting of the superior ovary, flowers consisting of the superior ovary and also the complete absence of perianth, such plants are grouped under nudiflorae. Nudiflorae, flowers are nude, naked, without the sepals and petals. So such flowered plants are kept under nudiflorae. And the last one is epocarpe. Epocarpe means here the plants are consisting of the flowers with the free carpels. Carpels are free. Epo means free. Carpels means ovary partitions. Partitions of the ovary, they are called as carpels. So here the flowers are flowers consisting of the free carpels. Such plants are grouped under epocarpe. Epo means free. Carpels means the partitions of the ovary. So those carpels are not fused, they are free. And the last one is like Glumaceae. Glumaceae is the advanced family among all the Bentham in the whole Bentham and Hooker system of classification. The Glumaceae family is the most advanced family. Here actually the perianth is completely reduced. Means the calyx and corolla are completely reduced to scale-like projections, scale-like structures. So such type of flowered plants are kept under Glumaceae. And now coming to the what are the merits of the Bentham and Hooker system of classification. Now let us see what are the merits, and next we will see the demerits. So first coming to the merits of the classification. So merits means like the first one is like it is a natural system of classification, just like we discussed earlier. Natural system of classification means it is the type of classification which is being proposed by taking into consideration of so many natural characters. So many maximum natural characters here they will be taken into consideration and then for the classification. So being the natural system of classification, it is widely accepted among many countries, and this type of classification is Bentham and Hooker classification is being made by observing the actual specimens, living specimens, original specimens, original plant species. So that is the major benefit. And the second one is like the Bentham and Hooker system of classification. It is having the great practical value. Practical value means practically this classification is very useful for the identification of plants and also for the grouping of plants. So many countries and many major herbarial institutes and major botanical institutes are following this type of classification. And now the third benefit of this Bentham and Hooker classification is gymnosperms. Gymnosperms are being treated as a separate group. Gymnosperms, if we see the classification, So I am taking you again to the classification. See here the classification. The gymnosperms are being placed between the dicotyledons and monocotyledons. So that point is taken as the advantage. That's the advantage. That's the merit of this classification. Why? Because gymnosperms are being treated as separate entity, separate group. So that one is the advantage for the Bentham and Hooker system of classification. And also placing of the dicotyledons before monocotyledons. If you see the classification again, the dicotyledons are placed before the monocots. Means in the view of Bentham and Hooker, dicotyledons are being treated as primitive, whereas monocotyledons are being treated as advanced. So that is the merit again. And then Ranalis, the first order in the Bentham and Hooker system of classification. If you see the classification, it's the Ranalis order. So placing the Ranalis order at the beginning of the dicotyledons, class dicotyledons, it's being considered as a merit. So while you see the classification, in the dicots is being divided into three series, namely polypetale, gamopetale, and three subclasses, namely polypetale, gamopetale, and monoclamidae. And polypetale is again divided into three series, namely thalamiflorae. If you see the thalamiflorae starts with the order Ranalis. So under dicotyledons, the first order is Ranalis. So that is the merit of this classification. And now next one is the, if you see the placing of the polypetale and gamopetale, Bentham and Hooker scientists, they considered polypetale as being primitive. Means the character of free petals is being considered as the primitive character, whereas the fused petals is being considered as the advanced character. So that is why polypetale is being placed before the gamopetale. So and also monoclamidae. So that's the advantage of this Bentham and Hooker classification. And again an order named Cucurbitalis, it's being placed under polypetale. So that point is also considered as an advantage for this Bentham and Hooker system of classification. And like after Cucurbitalis and the Gamopetales families, Gamopetale subclass Gamopetale, it is being divided into inferior, heteromere, and bicarpellate. And that inferior, heteromere, and bicarpellate, it's being classified based on the position of the ovary. Means the superior ovary and the inferior ovary. And also the Gamopetales families are being classified in a order from actinomorphic condition to zygomorphic condition. Now what is actinomorphic and what is zygomorphic means? Actinomorphic means if the flower is cut in any direction, the flower can be cut into two equal parts in any direction. Such type of flower is called as actinomorphic. Zygomorphic means if a flower is cut into two equal parts only in one direction, that is known as zygomorphic flower. So based on the classification in Gamopetales families, it's being based on the transition, the changes from the actinomorphic to zygomorphic flower. So that is considered as the advantage of Bentham and Hooker system of classification. And now coming into the position of the heteromere. Before bicarpellate, heteromere is placed. So that is the advantage. If you have to see the classification and you have to analyze the classification step by step. You have to observe the classification step by step for understanding these points. So Cucurbitalis is placed before the in polypetale, and heteromere is placed before the bicarpellate. And all the families with unisexual flowers are placed before the families with bisexual flowers. Means unisexual flowers are being considered as families with the unisexual flowers are placed before the families with bisexual flowers. So here you see bisexual flowers is considered as advanced and unisexual flowers are being considered as the primitive type. And then the last one is like Graminae family is there, Graminae. So that Graminae is placed at the end of the monocots, and that's also being considered as one of the merit of Bentham and Hooker system of classification. These are all the merits of the Bentham and Hooker system of classification. Now if you coming into the demerits of the classification, disadvantages of the classification. So in the disadvantage, first point is like position of the gymnosperms. So gymnosperms were being placed between the dicots and monocots. So that point is that point can be taken both in advantages and also disadvantages, both in merits side and on demerits side. So the first point in demerits is also the position of the gymnosperms. That is not being justified actually. So that's why it is also being considered as demerit. And then some in the classification, some points, at some points, the classification was being based on considering only on a single character and mostly some artificial characters, not naturally. Means the whole system of classification is not natural. At some points, Bentham and Hooker classified by taking the only one or two artificial characters. So that's a disadvantage for this. And now in the Bentham and Hooker system of classification, some closely related families are being separated and some distant families are being grouped closely. So that is also another demerit. So unrelated families are grouped and related families are being separated. And then coming into the next one, advanced families are there, some like Compositae, Asteraceae family and Orchidaceae family. And these advanced families, they are considered as primitive according to Bentham and Hooker. So that is a demerit. And then monocotyledon's position, it's being considered as unnatural thing. And also while using the taxa means levels. In the previous video lessons, that is in the initial stages, while describing the initial video lessons, while describing the taxonomy, I told you what are taxa. Taxa means ranks or stages or levels of the classification. Any stage or level or ranks, so that they are called as a taxa. So here there is in the use of taxa, Bentham and Hooker didn't given any uniformity. So that is the demerit here. And for example, in dividing the Polypetalae and also the gymnosperms, Monoclamidae and monocots. For example, if we observe the classification of Bentham and Hooker, we can see Polypetalae, the subclass Polypetalae is divided into Polypetalae and Gamopetalae. Both subclasses Polypetalae and Gamopetalae are being divided into series first, and then those series are being divided into orders, and those orders are being divided into families, and those family are being divided into genera, and then again species. So like that, all the classification was being made by in Polypetalae and Gamopetalae. But if you see the Monoclamidae, so the Monoclamidae classification is not uniform or is not equal to the classification of Polypetalae and Gamopetalae. So Polypetalae and Gamopetalae classification is different, whereas coming into the Monoclamidae, they were being directly divided into series, and then those series are not divided into orders, and only series are there, so no orders. So that is the difference. And also if you see the monocots are also being directly divided into series, and there are no orders in monocots also. So like this, there is some difference in the classification. So the whole classification is not being proposed uniform in a uniform manner. There are some deviations, there are some differences in the classification. So that is why they are all the demerits of the Bentham and Hooker system of classification. And these are the major points of the Bentham and Hooker system of classification. So this is a very important question for you. So this will surely come for the essay answer. So while reading the Bentham and Hooker classification, first of all you have to know what are the three types of classifications, and again you have to know about the Bentham and Hooker, who is Bentham and who is George Bentham and who is Joseph Dalton Hooker, and the book written by Bentham and Hooker, published by Bentham and Hooker, named as the Genera Plantarum, and they described the 97,205 flowering plants. And you have to by heart you have to learn the in detail the full classification up to the orders. You have to learn completely, and then you have to justify the classification step by step. You have to justify why some plants are grouped under dicotyledons. So you have to mention that 4 points, like presence of taproot system, presence of 2 cotyledons, and presence of reticulate venation, and presence of penta or trimerous flowers. So based on these 4 characters, the plants are being grouped under dicotyledons. So like that, each group. So like that, you have to justify what are the characters are being taken for grouping under this particular taxa. So in that manner you have to learn step by step why some plants are being grouped under dicotyledons, why on what basis the dicotyledons are being separated into polypetalae, gamopetalae and monoclamidae. So again, why the polypetalae, what is the name suggests, and why the polypetalae is again divided into series, on what basis, on which characters. So thalamiflorae means what are the characters the plants should possess if at all they are to be grouped under thalamiflorae. So if we have to place the plants under disciflorae, what are the characters the plants should possess? So like that, each step by step, taxa by taxa, you have to learn this classification. And also after learning all the justifying points why the plants are, what are the identifying characters and what are the characters of each particular taxa, and then you have to learn about the Bentham and Hooker classification's merits and demerits. So that's all, students. I hope you understood this classification. It's very simple classification if you read and understood carefully, and I hope you understood well. Okay, thank you.